Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm T with Teresa H Creates, and this is just a Saturday craft along with me while I continue working on my steampunk chipboard album. So in a previous video, I created this mixed media effect on this chipboard. This is our cover, and I've put this pretty pattern on the back, and then this is our back cover here. And I also created the little pages that are going to go inside. So originally the chipboard album contained this chipboard piece and then the one on the back. So those were the actual inserts, but I like to do things the hard way. I never do it the way they want me to. So I'm not going to use these two chipboards, and I decided to go ahead and make my own pages. So I used some black cardstock. It was heavyweight, 250 GSM, 92 pound. And I created the base pages. That really isn't the best cardstock to use. I don't think I should have used something heavier, but I was using things in my stash and that's what I happen to have. So I decided that I would go with it because I'm going to be putting multiple layers onto this base. So this is what I've got so far. So there is flip and flip. That's page 1. And then this guy, and you'll notice that I made a boo-boo here. I actually should have put the little flips down before I put the gold on, but I made a mistake, and then I'll fix it later. I'm not sure how, but I will. There's this little flip out here. There is this one here. This is a pocket. And then this guy here opens up. And then that was it. That's all I've got so far. So I figured I would go ahead and continue working on it and just craft today. It's raining here in Texas, and I'm hoping that you guys pull out a project and craft along with me because I love being in my studio and my workspace on a rainy day. It is just the best time to be in here. So I think that I'm going to go ahead and take these apart. I put them on the ring binder because I wanted to make sure that I had left enough room for clearance for all of my little flips and flaps and everything. So I put them on the binder, wanted to make sure it was all good, and it was. So there we go. I actually went to my very first in this area crop yesterday. It was a lot of fun. So there is a group that meets on a regular basis. Once a month, I believe. They do a Friday and Saturday crop. It's like from 10 a.m. Friday to 10 p.m. So it's every day. You don't stay overnight. So it's every day. Friday and Saturday, 10 to 10. So I went yesterday, and for the very first time, and I got a lot of work done. Got a lot of stuff prepped and done. It was very productive, especially since I didn't have anyone there to harass me about needing things. You know how it goes. You have 50 interruptions when you're in the studio, right? All right, let me put my base down. I am using this glue stick on the edges, and then I will use my art glitter glue in the center. I found when I put down a piece yesterday to test it that the art glitter glue, you can see the lines through this actual gold cardstock. And this is, I want to say this was Recollections. So it's the Michaels brand gold. Here, let me put this here so that I have some idea of where the edges are, right? And over here. Let's come this way a bit. There we go. So it is the Recollections brand. And I just noticed that it just, you can see through it. So I'm concerned that even though it's a quality glue stick, this Yoo-Hoo, I'm concerned though that after a while it won't hold down on the edges. And so that's why I really wanted to use the art glitter glue in the center, so that even if the edges over time come up a little bit, the art glitter glue is going to keep it in place. It won't actually completely detach from the entire base, right? Right. So in theory, that should work. Okay. And while I'm working through this, I have to figure out some way to reinforce these. I knew that it wasn't going to be strong enough with a lot of work, and I've actually gotten the edge here on this one. There are 4 rings, so I'm not worried about it actually coming apart, but I've got to do something to reinforce it. So I did on all of them leave this nice little border here for me to be able to do something with that. Okay. And as I went through this, I actually labeled everything. So flip 1B, because the other side was flip 1A, and this is page 1. So I did get pretty creative. Just in case you're interested, let me share the dimensions. So I thought it was an 8x8 chipboard, but it was not. We discovered very quickly that it was 7 7/8 by 7 7/8. And if you're interested in seeing the actual tutorial on that mixed media piece, I'll link it in the description below. But then my black cardstock, and this is just for the main bases, my black cardstock was 7 3/4 by 7 3/4, and then the gold was 7.5 by 7.5. So let's see what I've got here. Got several things. This one is 2B. So that goes in there. This one is 2A. So that goes there. I'm not sure what I was planning. Just for that guy to go there. And then this is 1B. And then I've got a couple of these, so I'm not sure what I was doing. I'm not sure if I was doing pocket maybe. I like that down there. I'm not sure what I was doing with, oh, look at that. That's really pretty. Now I think I like this down here. I'm not sure what I was doing with that. So I'm not going to add it. All right, let me speed through this part while I attach these pieces. All right, thank you for bearing with me. I was like dropping things left and right, so that was, yeah. I don't know what was going on. Okay, I think that this is 2A. So that one is flip 2A. I had so much fun at the crop yesterday. Everybody was very nice, very welcoming. It's been a while since I've been to a crop. And I actually think I've only been to like a handful of them. I used to host a little bit of a crop, just kind of a it was crafty ladies is what we called it. Ages ago, I had a couple of crafty friends, and so they would come over and we would work on craft stuff and eat snacks and just, chat and everything. And that was a lot of fun. But those were good friends, and now I don't live over in that part of town, so we don't get to see each other as much. So when I moved over to this part of town, I joined a Facebook page, and I think I've mentioned it before. They scrap or crop once a month. It's kind of a themed crop, and they host it because they do potluck and everything on Saturday. And it is a theme. And yesterday's theme or this weekend's theme was going to be, I think it was Cinco de Mayo. So they were having like tacos, I think, today. Anyhow, I'm busy later today, so I ended up not booking for today. And it's absolutely free. But you register, you kind of RSVP, so they know whether or not to tell people to bring extra tables and stuff. And they host it at the senior center. So it's nice. It's nice to have a nice large facility where everybody can go in and do their crafting. Okay, this is down that. Okay. That is going to go there. All right. So I went yesterday at 10 and I stayed till just a little bit after 9. It was a lot of fun. Okay. I think these are the bits for part 2, for page 2. Yes, it is. And that is page 2. And this is page 2. So what was I doing here and here? Maybe I didn't get that far. Was I doing this here? Must not have gotten that far. I don't know. I'm not quite sure what I was doing with this, so I'm not going to do anything with it right now. I'm going to set it aside. And then I don't even know if I want to attack that right now or if I do it at a later time. I'm just going to keep plugging on with what we've got, with what I've got planned, what I've already got prepped, I mean. All right, so that's one. I'm going to set it aside and kind of let it dry. And then this is 2. And so that goes there. Pull my mat out. I'm going to have to clean. I'm going to have to clean glue off of these gold cardstock pieces in some areas, since I'm not wiping this down between, and I know it's getting on some of the pieces on the fronts. There we go. I'm really enjoying working on the Alice in April series. I've got so much Alice in Wonderland stuff, so it's nice to be able to actually, you know, pull it out and use it. I hope you guys are enjoying it. I'd be interested in knowing what everyone else is working on too. There are so many challenges and things going on right now. I have seen so many people participating. I think the 100 days of journaling, I think, is still going on. Lots of things that I've seen. They might be kind of wrapping up now. I missed the whole mass makes in March. I don't typically, I've never participated in that before, but it might be a good idea just to have a lot of extras. I was going to put this here. Yes, yes. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to be doing after this. Probably just some, I know Mother's Day is coming up and I've got to think about the card I'm going to do for my mother. I did a pretty elaborate card last year. I have a video on that. It was pretty elaborate. Okay, these go both directions because every time I look at it, I look at a different butterfly, and then I think I've got it upside down, but they're different directions because they kind of alternate directions there, and I'm always, yeah, I always think it's upside down. Okay, and then, let me see. Oh, yes. Okay, so I wanted to use some of this ledger paper here. However, the scrap piece that I had was not long enough, but I think I might have some larger pieces in my stash, so I kind of put it there as a placeholder. So I don't need to actually attach that one. All right. Moving on. I think, yeah. Was it this side or this side? Do you see my pencil marks? I'm not seeing my pencil mark. But oh wait, this is 2B. So 2B is actually, Goodness. Okay. 2A, 2B. 2B is here. What was on the other side? This one says P1. I got my stuff all mixed up. All right, hold on a second. Let's go back to 1. So I guess I was putting this here. That makes sense. Okay. Let me ink this up. So at some point when I was going through that whole thing and putting my bases together, I ended up getting my pages out of whack. So it is a good thing that I actually penciled in on the backs of them what they were for. But once I get these bases down, then I'll be able to go in and do all the really fun decorating. And I've got so many metal gears and things ready to go. I kind of feel like I should be using a combo of tape and glue with this. I was definitely going to have glue though, for sure, because this is, you know, adhering to a shiny surface. And anytime you do that, you've definitely got to have some glue. Okay. So there we go. All right, we're figuring this out. And then back to this one. This one was here, and it said 2B. That is A, and this one is B. So we're going to do that side. A lot of these, this collection that I was using for the steampunk has a lot of like orange kind of tones, and then also a lot of kind of blue turquoise type tones. So I was constantly like flipping back and forth. This is going to probably make it more difficult, but I'm going to go ahead and put some tape down and see if maybe I like that. I didn't use tape on those the gold foil, because I thought that having tape down on it would actually, you'd actually see it through that thin gold cardstock. It was super thin. You could see almost everything through it. I think I'm getting offline there a little bit. So, all right, I don't know if this is going to make things easier or more difficult. Probably more difficult, since that's just kind of the way I like to go anyway. Like, why couldn't I just use the chipboard inserts and just have a 4-page chipboard album? No, I had to get fancy. Do my own pages. Go the difficult route. It's just how I do it. It's okay. Makes for more exciting results, I think. Right? And it's good to challenge yourself. It's good to have challenges. Plus, I don't really know what to do with just a basic chipboard album. This is not directional, so I'm not going to worry about it having to be a certain direction. All right. Oops. Okay. All right, let's keep looking, see if I can find, is this my 2A maybe? Nope. Don't know. I think that this would go here. Maybe not. Maybe I was wanting something different, because this does have a different mark on it. All right, let's keep going, and maybe they'll pop up like the others did. maybe they will pop up. Okay, this one I was using that little bit of ledger. Let's see. This one says 2A. And this one does not say anything. Oh, wait. This is a 2A pocket. So that would be here. To a pocket. Apparently I wanted to do a pocket here. Okay. And then this one is to a, maybe it's here. Maybe did I mean the flip? Might have meant the flip. Oh well, I intended both of those for that, I'm guessing. Okay, let's go on to 3A. There we go. Back on track. Let me see what it looks like with the tape on here. Well, the tape's not really going to hold. You really do need a glue. Although I'm not really sure that the Yoo-hoo stick is going to hold either on that slick surface. And if not, I'll just have to go back later and use some of that glue, some of the glue in there to help hold it down. What's your favorite go-to adhesive? I gotta be honest, I love my liquid glue. My art glitter glue is my favorite. It is my go-to adhesive. Make sure I get all of these edges. All right. And then this is the B flip. B flip, and I think, where is my scraper tool? Okay. And then this guy goes there. Once I get all these bases down, then I'll come in and add all of the, you know, spots for pockets and tucks. And I was trying to think through that as I was going through and creating it, but I'll add all the belly bands and all the decorative elements later. I have I've got quite a bit of ephemera that goes with this packet, thankfully. All right. And then this is, doesn't say. All right, so moving on. This is 3A, Okay, so I think I was going to try to look for a larger piece to go there. So that makes sense. Because I think I have some larger pieces in my stash. And then here, I don't know what I'm putting down for my base though. I don't know. Why don't we just work on the waterfall though? So I wanted to do kind of a waterfall element here. And I think I did it right. So I've got my base, right, that I'll attach. So that'll go down. And then I cut down my pieces. And they are the exact size. And then I can trim them up, I guess, if needed on the bottom, but I do plan on like cutting the bottoms. And I want to say that the pieces are, get my ruler real quick. So they are 4 1/8 by 5, I believe. Yep, 4 1/8 by 5. So you could do photos. You'd have to trim them and crop them a little bit, but you could do photos on this. And then I'll go back later and put, you know, writing surface on the backs of them. Ink those edges though. Let me go ahead and ink all of them up. I think I'm going to do the tape and glue combo on these since they're going on that black cardstock. And then I want to get some seam binding to put on the back of this so that I can tie them down. I think some seam binding would be a good contrast with all the paper and metal bits that are going to be in this journal, because I have lots of metal gears that I'll end up incorporating in this. All right, let me cover this up. And let's get to taping. Let me make sure I have everything the right way. That is a duplicate. I'm using this piece. It is this side. And I think this might be my bottom piece right here. Yep. All right, let me move this up into view. This is my first time doing this waterfall technique. Well, actually, I take that back. When I took that class at the expo, I did do a waterfall technique. Hold on, let me grab that little book. Okay. So this little copy book, where was it? We did a waterfall technique here. Oh no, I bent it. It's moving around on me. I'm gonna have to go in with some glue because it was just tape. But anyway, there's the little waterfall technique, and I'll have to go in and fix it. This paper is slick, so see? Tape on that slick paper does not work. You're gonna need your glue. You're going to have your glue. It will come off. I need to go back and fix that. But I needed to go back and fix it anyway because I missed some of the instruction and then got behind, and my cover page should have actually been the back of the journal. And so now I'm going to have to add another page, and I just haven't gone back and done it yet, so that I've actually got a true back to the journal. Okay. I'm going to use some glue as well, because if I stick it down with this tape, it's done and done. Like, that is it. But if I've got the glue on it, then it gives me just a tiny bit of wiggle room. Perfect. All right. Did I get too close? Did I not do that right? Oh my goodness. Guys, I am such a mess. I think I was going to start with the top, and that's what I ended up. This was supposed to be my bottom piece. Oh goodness. Tell you what. It's always exciting in my studio. Always. That is fine. I will use, okay, wait. We're going to do this guy next, and then one of these, one of these, one of these, one of these. Okay. Just want to make sure. Tape. So this was interesting paper collection, because a lot of it was, you know, really dark and everything. And then there was this little bit in there that, like this, that had all these florals and pretty colors. Made it a little bit softer. So I was trying to keep them together like in the album. So that it looked right, it flowed well. Okay, so back to this being my first waterfall. I was just winging it, honestly. I could give you measurements, but I don't know that you would necessarily need them unless you were doing a book exactly this size. So what does it look like I did? For the total base was 7.5. And then I did, I want to say it was half an inch. Yep, half an inch. So I did 4 1/8. So my base sheet was 4 1/8 by 7.5. And then I did 4 1/8 for all these little black pieces by 5.5. Then I did a 1/2 inch score, and then glued that 1/2 inch down on each of these all the way down. And so there's the base, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Five pages in my waterfall. And it was pretty easy. Well, my little pages are slightly longer, but that's fine because I'm going to trim them. I'd rather that they be slightly longer than not long enough, right? Because I can always trim, but I can't always add. Okay. What were we going to do next? We were going to bring in a little bit of this. Let's do the collage one next. This one kind of incorporates all of those patterns. And like I said, these'll do well enough. You might have to crop some photos, but you'd be able to put some photos on there. And then I'll come back and add pieces to the backs for journaling. Or they might just look okay the way they are. You could always just use a white gel pen. What do you guys think? Not everybody has a white gel pen, but oh my gosh. Or even like a gold pen. Huh. A gold pen, white gel pen. I don't know. I'm kind of liking that now. What do you guys think? Leave it black or add some white writing space? Okay. I do have an eraser for adhesive, so I don't know why I do that. Fuss over that. Oh, it's looking so pretty. Okay. Now, let's do this one. A nice solid in there. Put these down. It was so nice yesterday to be able to work on projects without any distractions. I only had to leave once to go grab some, I guess it was lunch, dinner. It was kind of a late lunch. I got kind of hungry, so I went out and grabbed something and then came back and ate there. So it was just a quick trip. There was lots of places right around there to grab something to eat. And there was a fridge, so if I had wanted to bring my own, you know, I could have refrigerated it. So I'll remember that for next time. And then I wouldn't have had to leave at all. But it was funny because several of the ladies were leaving to like run up to the Michaels or run over to Joann's, or a lot of them were talking about Joann's, you know, going out of business, and they were asking about sale items and stuff. And finally they were like, you know what, we're just going to go check it out. But I've been there, done that, so I didn't bother. I don't think that their prices are really where I would want them to be for, you know, to pick up stuff yet. Like I did pick up a few things, like some of their open stock papers. That has a good sale right now, but like I'm gonna do this and then that. Okay. But like I really want their big packets of their the Park Lane premium packets that have the textured paper in it, because I like the textured paper and I'm waiting for those. And they were just 20% off when I was in there. And I'm like, that's not very much. They're $20 and they were only at 20% off. And I was like, I don't think you guys are serious yet. So I'm waiting for that to go on sale. Whereas the open stock paper, all of those were like 60 to 70% off. And then their paper packs, their paper pads, their branded paper pads and stuff were at my local one were, they were 50% off. And even the basil was 60% off, 60% off. But yet their Park Lane premium paper was 20. And I was like, nope, not serious enough yet. When you get serious, I'll be back. Because I would love to pick up quite a bit of that. And there was still a lot of it there. So apparently I wasn't the only one who thought that. There was still quite a bit there. So other people thought that it was ridiculously expensive as well. But it's sad to be losing another craft spot. Honestly, I liked going there to pick up their fabric bits. And I like the Park Lane paper. So I did do quite a bit of shopping there. This one is short. Did I need to trim? Oh, you know what? So I ended up needing to trim that anyway. So not a problem. Not a problem. All right. So let's trim up this waterfall. Okay, you see this little bit here? All right, steady hands. All right, I think that's good. Just this little bit here. Being too picky. All right. And then the backs of these, a couple of them need to be trimmed up. Ooh, that one was really off. Overall, I did pretty good, I think. Oh, that one's super close. Okay. Let me go back and get those white cores. And then my adhesive eraser. This. Oh, I've got to do those little spaces in between. I'll do that. Just a little rough edge there. Okay. Looks good, looks good. And then let's see. I do have little gold bits. I had some trim left over, so we're going to put those in there. In the in-betweens. Is that going to be pretty? So pretty. Okay, here's the trick though. I don't know where all of them went. So I cut them and I pulled them out of the bag. Maybe they're still in my scrap bag. So I took these bags. I took large bags like this and I had my projects in there. So I could keep them together and separate. I know there are more. I'll have to track them down later. All I can find right now are 2. I didn't stop to do any gluing yesterday. I just kept cutting. I did a lot of cutting. All right, so all of them will have something that looks like that. Let me grab some seam binding and we can figure out what seam binding we want to use. I've got a couple, but I already knew. Yep, I knew before I came over here which one it was going to be. It's going to be this one. Lovely. Look at that. It looks like this turquoise, but it looks like it's got some tea dye on it. See? Okay, I had to get my tape box because in my tape box I should have glue dots. Actually, I think that's what these are too. And glue dots are what you use in cases like this. All right. See if I can find center-ish. Okay. So that will be my top piece. And I'm just going to put the glue dot on there. When I glue the entire thing to the back of, or to my page, it'll all stay. I've just got to figure out how long I want this. Maybe. I don't know. I don't want to waste this is kind of the issue I'm having. All right. Look at that in camera. Isn't this gorgeous? This is gorgeous. I'm loving this color. All right, let me uncrinkle you a little bit. And I don't even know if this is the correct direction. We're going to go with it though. All right, so we're going to follow the line down because I'm good like that. All right. And then there we go. Perfect. How pretty is that? How pretty is that? And then of course I can always move my bow up or down, but I like it. I like it. I like it. So I'm not sure. Is it this page? It's this one. Okay. I'm not sure what page I was going to have here, but it'll fit right there like that. And I don't know what I'm using on the rest of this. I did have this in there, but maybe I was going to use this guy. Or some variation of. I mean, I could. Maybe, and then do like a little pocket. I don't know. Do you think that the Harlequin kind of goes with that? I don't know. I'll have to think about that. But we're not ready to adhere this yet anyway. And then this guy, I was looking for a larger base page. Okay. All right, we're plugging along, plugging along. Put that in there. And then my pocket. So let's see what this is for. Where did I write? This is 4A. This is 4. For A. For A. Okay, this is where I was going to make a pocket. I put my glue dots up. They are super sticky, so they will get everywhere. I'm just a little unsure as far as like what kind of pocket I want to make. I kind of want to do a decorative edge, but I'm not sure what that looks like. So maybe I just go ahead and ink this up and adhere this, you know, and then the rest of it I'll figure out. I'll figure out later. So I'm not going to trim this down because I don't know how tall or short I'm actually going to make that second piece, that bottom piece down here. So, and inking the whole thing was just habit. Question though, do I leave this out or do I cut it? think that I leave it, right? I don't know. I don't know. I can always do it later though. So let's go ahead and move on. So note to self, next time I'm at a crop, take better notes. I thought I was doing so good writing the little page numbers on there and everything that I would remember the idea. I even wrote pocket on one of them. I was doing fantastic. Look at me. And come on. Alrighty. Clean that bit of glue off. Okay. And then this guy will obviously go on the bottom. I don't know what that's going to look like yet though, because I might want to do some decorative edge. I'm pretty sure that I do. And I'm not sure whether or not I'm going to cut the notch out or not. Let me do the pocket first and figure that out. And then I'll know whether or not I'm going to cut the notch out or if I'm just going to leave it the way it is. Because if I do something on the other side, it would cover the same. And that's what I'm doing there. I'm not using that. Does this say what it is for? It does not. So I'm just collecting random pieces. And this one says say B for pocket. Okay. Not that you can actually see this. Vintage photo is what I'm using for distress. It has a little bit of kind of that red undertone to it, kind of an orangey-ish red. And that's really what I wanted on this. I didn't want full black. And I didn't want, you know, something too dark like the walnut. And I wanted it to kind of have a reddish. We have a lot of orange in this collection. So I thought, or in this project period, we've got quite a bit of kind of that burnt orange or rust color. So I wanted to kind of keep with those tones. So that's why I ended up going with the vintage photo, because it just has kind of that little bit of reddish hue to it. Orangey kind of a color. There we go. And today is not exciting. After I finish up here, I get to do chores. Clean house, laundry, dusting. No one is going to be home for Easter. It's just going to be me, so it'll be quiet tomorrow. My children are going to their grandmother's on their father's side with their father. And then my husband is actually at a racing event. He has a track car that he takes out and tracks. So he is going to be doing that tomorrow. That was another reason why this was a great weekend for me to go do the check out the crop, because he wasn't going to be home anyway. Okay, we're almost done. All right, let's see. Are we positive I did not write anything on this? Okay. $5B. Okay, so this is 5B. Oh, I cut it too short. That's what that was. This one is not marked. This one is not marked. Just collecting random things. Okay. 5B. I don't know what I'm doing, guys. I really don't. Okay. I think that actually that's what these are for. I think I'm going to use that Harlequin down there. And then I think that that was going to go there. Pretty sure that's what's happening. Is that too bright behind this? Or did I want something darker? Maybe I was on the fence and this went on that other paper. I don't know now. But that's fine. Okay. I know that this one we did all the way to the edge like this, but this I'm going to actually trim up so that it just fits in those little sections. I'll do that. So I know that the width is good enough. So this way we're right on par, but I don't know how long this flap is. So let's see. It is like 3 3/4. So if I go 3 1/2. Perfect. Do you want to know what's not so perfect? I wrote here. I wrote on the ends of this. All right, let me get my mat out. So if I did this at 3 1/2, oh, I've got glue. That's the one thing about using the glue sticks. You get glue everywhere. There's just no way to not have it all over your hands. None that I have found anyway. Okay. Use my tool, flatten this out. Okay. So if it was 3 1/2, let's do 3 1/4 and see what we get. That's just 1/8 inch around. And that works. Very good. That does not mean that those will be the same measurements for the top piece. They should be, but that's not a guarantee, right? Because most likely I did not cut that right in the center at all. And it's completely off. All right. Let's flip this around. Here's my other piece. Yeah, and that needs to be trimmed just a little bit. So let's see. That one is right at 4. So we'll do 3 3/4. Perfect. So it is slightly larger on top than bottom, like by 1/4 inch. What's 1/4 inch? That's basically 50. That's basically halfway, right? 1/4 inch is nothing. I say I got pretty close. All those years of crafting paying off. I can eyeball within 1/4 inch. All right. So then we're going to cut this at 3 1/2. Cut a little more off of that. There we go. That was slightly off. Perfect. Cut all these edges. My antiqued gold or whatever they are rings should show up today, so I'm excited about that. So let's see. I've got to go in and do all the little pockets and things. I've got to go in my stash because I have a lot of those larger pieces in my stash, the 12 by 12 still for a lot of these patterns, and so I've got to go in and get larger pieces because I just took a lot of the scrap and the scrap ended up not being large enough. So I do have to go in and get some of these larger pieces of 12 by 12 to cut down to fill in some of these spots. And then I'm in business, right? Then I'll be able to complete the rest of this. All right, let me set this aside. I am 99% sure that's where this one goes. That's what I intended. So I am going to go ahead and commit and put it down. Burnish this tape down. Make sure it's down good. Okay. So after crafting for 11 hours yesterday, and then crafting for a few hours this morning, I am kind of crafted out. So I am going to focus on other things, do some relaxing today, spend some time with my kids, do some chores. Yep. And recharge my crafty batteries. Maybe catch up on all the YouTube videos that I've got saved and haven't watched yet. Recharge my crafty batteries. So that is it. That is it. I accomplished quite a bit. So I only have a few cuts to make and then I'll go in and start decorating. And then the next time you see this album will be at the end of the month when I do my, my flip throughs of all the albums that I was able to finish and for this month in my Alice in April series. So if you liked this, enjoyed crafting along with me, please give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so. And until next time, bye.